by expanding the size of the project or life of project if things turn out to be much better than expected. I mean, typically when we do this for real, there's going to be cost to abandoning the project, there's going to be cost to expanding the project. But in all cases, you're going to make a decision depending upon what those scenarios are. In each scenario, you have a decision to make. Are you going to abandon, continue as it is, or expand? And based on that decision, you're going to figure out what the future cash flows are going to be. Then you're going to calculate NPV under each scenario, calculate the expected NPV. That's how you're going to make your decision. In real business, we don't do it this crudely. We would actually do a simulation, and typically there is a distribution to those forecasts. We would generate random numbers using the forecast uncertainty, calculate our decision in each realization, and calculate the expected value that way. But in real life, we also have uncertainty in multiple variables. So you would basically do simulations from a multivariate distribution. But the spirit of the calculation is exactly the same. Of course, at this level, we're not going to do that because that requires, I would have required all of you guys to be finance majors and pretty much seniors. Since this class barely has any prerequisites, I can't do that sort of stuff, but I'm trying to give you the idea. This is one reason natural resources have positive value even when cost of extraction exceeds the market price. For example, crude oil. Depending upon where you're extracting your oil, it costs a lot of money to extract it. For example, Saudi Arabian fields are so old and developed, it costs Saudis around $8-10 a barrel to extract a barrel of oil. Now let's find out let's see. The Brent oil price is 92. I mean, it varies. Let's see, West Texas Intermediates. And it's about $90. This so-called Saudi oil is sweeter in the sense that you can extract more gasoline and other stuff out of it compared to West Texas. But, you know, it costs them only 10% of what they could sell it in the market. So if oil prices goes down to $20, that's not going to affect the Saudis. Let's find out. How much does it cost to extract shale oil? It ranges as high as $95 per barrel, as low as 25, but it's typically around 50 bucks, okay? For example, in a place like North Dakota. So if oil prices suddenly go down to 20, those fields are not going to be economical to extract. Does that mean that they have no value? No, they have value. It's precisely because they have an option not to extract. If the oil is $20, I'm not going to spend $50 to extract that oil and sell it. So basically on those years, I'll just sit. Yes, there'll be a cost to maintain it, but typically that's not too much. Make sure that nobody comes and steals it, but that's not too much of a cost. But there's going to be years like this year, you can get $90 a barrel, then you're going to go ahead and do it. Since there's a distribution to oil prices, when the oil prices are on the left tail, you don't realize the loss, or you realize very little loss. And on the right tail, you realize pretty much all of the profit. That's, in a sense, in the same spirit as option to abandon. You have an option to leave the product underground. And it is not economical to extract it. And do it only when you can generate profits. That's why even when oil prices went down to 25-30 range a few years ago, especially around COVID, people were still developing shale fields in North Dakota, among other places. And the boom of North Dakota is pretty much coming from that. Yes, they did suffer. The economy suffered because suddenly that employment that goes with the actual extraction wasn't there. But that didn't mean that those fields were actually completely, worthless. Same thing goes with deep sea extraction. Obviously, it costs a lot more than $8. It's not as bad as shale oil, but still, they have an option not to extract it. If you look at, for example, crude oil, let me look at just the last 5 years. During COVID, it went down as low as 22, even until recently, we were 70 or below. Some of the newer shale fields They cost a lot more money. Still, people are doing it. The idea is the same, option to abandon. So just because your product is a dud doesn't mean you have to stay with the product and lose all the money. Same deal here. I'm going to stop you today. On Wednesday, if you guys have all sent the surveys, first I'll talk about your surveys. If not, we'll continue with some other types of optionalities and how to actually build these optionalities into your product. Because if you don't build them, these won't happen. If you build them, they will come. You have to organize your project in such a way that you always have contingencies. Otherwise, things become irreversible. Once things are irreversible, if bad luck happens, you're going to lose a lot of money. You should always leave yourself a way to escape, just like in a war, okay? And whenever you attack the enemy, you always have a contingency plan. If things do not work out the way you think they will, you have an alternate exit plan. Okay? Same idea here. So we'll talk about those on Wednesday. I'll see you guys Wednesday.